What's going on, everyone, and Happy New Year to you all. Welcome back to TTP Sports. And before we get into this Flyers loss over the Los Angeles Kings, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. So if you're looking for all the latest Philadelphia sports news, recaps, and events, if you're a new sub to the channel, new viewer, definitely recommend hitting that sub button. And if you are a current viewer of the channel, I am grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue seeing you as the channel continues to grow. We just got over 400 subs, looking to get over the 500 subs now, and when we get to that 500 sub count, I will do a giveaway, so there's a little bit of enticement there. So definitely hit that sub button. I will greatly appreciate that. So getting into the business tonight, I'm going to try to keep this maybe not as long as I normally do, like on the normal length of the videos. Going to try to keep this a little bit more shorter than usual just because it is 1:30 in the morning as this game ends. Flyers after dark. Am I right? So the Flyers lose this game to the Los Angeles Kings by a score of 6-3. The Flyers point streak ends as they get their first loss in their last 8 games, basically. They were 5-0-2 coming into this game, a 7-game point streak, and now that point streak is over. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this game either, but I do think the Flyers played better, if you know what I mean. I felt like they played better than they did in the win against Seattle and in the overtime loss against San Jose. I felt like this was the better game out of these three, but still I don't think they played good enough because I thought a lot of the goals that Los Angeles scored tonight was just way too easy. A lot of goals scored off the rush. Martin Jones, definitely not one of his best games. My goodness, he was not good in this game at all. But I guess you can say there are a couple of positives. I'm not sure. It's just, I do think they played better, but I'm still really not the biggest fan of the way they're playing, even though now going into their final game of this road trip, which is going to be against Anaheim on Tuesday, they are going to get some reinforcements as Scott Lawton and Carter Hart. They're going to be off the COVID list now. They'll be able to travel with the team. So that's going to be a good thing. I'm not quite entirely sure on Derek Brassard, but I also do believe he is off the COVID list as well. So the Flyers are going to get some reinforcements going into Anaheim, so maybe that will benefit them down the road. So hopefully that's some good stuff there. But I know I'm just not the biggest fan of the way this team has been playing recently. I feel like even though they did definitely play better in this game, they actually outshot the opponent 37-34. I just feel like they're giving up things way too easily, and even in the past 2 games too, I felt like they were getting outshot way too much. I felt they were just giving up way too many chances, and I guess that's just the flow of this team with the way they have been this past decade, where they're a team that you really just can't predict what they're going to be. They lose 10 games in a row, they make the playoffs. They win 10 games in a row, they don't make the playoffs. So it's one of those types of seasons once again, and I'm just going to say they played better, but I'm just still not the biggest fan of this game. That's basically the entire summary of this entire thing. So going into this game, it was a very early start for the Los Angeles Kings. They scored 12 seconds into it as Victor Arvidsson, Flyers lose a puck battle down low. He wraps it around Martin Jones, honestly, who probably should have made this save here. He probably didn't even know where the puck was at this point. Becomes an early 1-0 Kings lead. The Flyers do get a jump from there. They eventually, a little over halfway through this period, Cam Atkinson does get a penalty shot going into the Kings zone. He makes a nice move. Jonathan Quick makes an even better save, but the Flyers get even more of a jump off of that ensuing penalty shot. It's that line once again, Drew, Atkinson, Farabee. I thought that line was all over the ice tonight. They get a drive. There's a scramble in front of the net. Atkinson, Drew there. Drew's literally sitting on his ass as he's trying to get the puck. Joel Farabee finds the loose chains, pots it into the net, makes it a 1-0 or 1-1 game at that point. I wish it was 1-0 Flyers from that standpoint, but that lead did not last long as the Kings, after a commercial break, win the faceoff, and it is more that makes it a 2-1 Kings lead going into the intermission. The Flyers do get a various amount of power plays through this game. The power play did not look good, in my honest opinion. Their goal that was scored later in this game, we'll get into that in a little bit, was probably their best look of the night. They did have some good looks on the power play, but it's just not pretty, in my honest opinion. So we go into the second period. Kings are on a power play as the Flyers, they take a lot of, bad penalties going into the second period. And it's Kempe off of a one-timer on the right side, beats Martin Jones, makes it a 3-1 Los Angeles lead. And even going into that end of the intermission, Travis Konechny, I thought, who had a very, very bad game tonight, taking a couple of bad penalties. He got a 10-minute misconduct as well in this game, so just not the best night from TK whatsoever. Also, Rasmus Ristolainen, he took a boarding penalty, which gave the Kings a 2-man advantage, which resulted in the Kempe goal coming in like a couple of seconds right off the 5-on-3 going into the 5-on-4. So it's a 3-1 Los Angeles lead from there. Going halfway into this period as well, you got the fourth line out there for Los Angeles, who has been all over the ice tonight as well. You got a nice pass over to Brendan Lemieux, who is skating with Connaughton going up the middle for Los Angeles. Beats Connaughton, and Lemieux literally just lost the puck on his stick. Martin Jones couldn't get a leg on it, and it becomes a 4-1 Los Angeles lead from there. Going into the third period, Flyers get a very early power play, 5-on-3. This game was really crazy with the penalties, especially going into the third period. Refs honestly didn't know what they were. It felt like there was once a penalty on the Kings, penalty on the Flyers, and penalty on the Kings. It just felt like it was one of those types of scenarios. So the Flyers get a 5-on-3 in this instance. So it was weird because the Flyers went on the power play. This is when Konechny got the 10-minute misconduct, to where originally they thought it was going to be a 4-on-4, but if you get a 10-minute misconduct, it's still, the power play should belong to the Flyers, because really a 10-minute misconduct doesn't really give you a power play or anything like that. It just takes the player off the ice for 10 minutes. And then Los Angeles, they take another penalty, and the Flyers get a 5-on-3 very early in this period. Mike Yeo elects to call the timeout, and then they pull the goaltender too when the Flyers are on the 5-on-3. So technically it's a 6-on-3. Flyers controlling the zone. Here comes Kevin Hayes coming off the bench into the King zone. You got Claude Giroux handling the puck. A great feed over to Kevin Hayes, who one-times it pass quick to make it a 4-2 Kings lead. But then the Flyers, they try to pounce from there. It looked like they were getting a lot better of the pressure in this period as well. They were the better team in this third period. But once again, it felt like the Kings' goals, especially in this period, were just way too easy. Flyers, they try to get something going. Keith Yandel, he pinches a little too far. They get a 2-on rush with Moore and Deneau going up to the Flyers zone. Pass from Moore to Deneau, beats Martin Jones. He had no chance on it. Becomes a 5-2 Kings lead. The Flyers, they try to pounce back at the end of the game. Ivan Provorov makes it a 5-3 game, but then Arvidsson ices the game off with the empty netter, making it 6-3. 3 stars at the game, Victor Arvidsson. First star, Philippe Deneau. Second star, and Trevor Moore. Third star for the Kings. Shots on goal in this game, Flyers outshoot the Kings 37-34. Face-off percentage, 52% in favor of the Flyers. Both teams score 1 power play goal. Flyers go 1 for 5. Kings go 1 for 3. Not that I would say a little bit of a physical game. 18 hits to 15 in favor of the Flyers. A lot of block shots in this game, 17-15 in favor of the Flyers. LA actually turned over the puck a lot. The Flyers really didn't do that much in this game turnover-wise. The Kings were sloppy in this game, don't get me wrong. I felt like I said, the Flyers played a lot better of a game than they have in the past couple. But it just felt like the Kings' goals in this game were just way too easy. And that's also credit that Martin Jones really didn't play the best in this game at all. But I wouldn't blame it all on Jones, but he's one of the factors into this loss because he didn't play his best game. Shots on goal per period. The Kings' best period was the first period. They outshot the Flyers 17-12. Flyers outshot the Kings in the second set 12-8. And then the Flyers outshot them in the third 13-9. So, step in the right direction, but also 2 steps backwards at the same time. Like I said, I thought the Flyers played better in this game, but still gave up way too many easy goals for my liking. So, now you're on the last stretch of this road trip. You were 1-1-1 in the first 3 games, and now you have the final game of this road trip, which is going to be Tuesday, so you have 2 days off going into this one. So basically, you're staying in the same city at this point, Los Angeles, Anaheim. They're basically, Los Angeles, Anaheim is what, the same county. Anaheim's in Orange County, which is not that far away from downtown LA. I've been there before, but I just don't remember the distances and all that. I don't think it's that far away at all. So basically, you're staying in the same vicinity, so not that much travel. You get 2 days off for practice. You're getting some players back from the COVID list. So hopefully you get some good reinforcements going into Anaheim on Tuesday. and hopefully that can result, in a better looking road trip, because right now you're a 1-1-1. But still, didn't play your best, but you played better than the past two. But still, it's not that good enough, because at the end of the day, everyone here knows my opinions on the team, and it doesn't matter if they play a little bit better, because at the end of the day, I think I know what they are, and they're just a mediocre team that's most likely going to be in it until the very end, just because of how close the wild card race is. Because honestly, if the Flyers won today's game, they would have been in the second wild card spot in the Eastern Conference, because they have 32 points right now. They're 13-13-6, and there's only two teams above them right now for that second wild card spot, and that's Detroit and Boston. Detroit currently holds that second wildcard spot, 33 points. Boston, even though they do have 5 games in hand, Boston does, they have 32 points, so definitely you got to factor that in. They have 5 games in hand, so take that with as much of a grain of salt as you want. Then you also have some teams that are below the Flyers. Columbus, 31 points. Devils, 29 points. The Islanders, 26 points. So there's a little bit of a race right here for that second wildcard spot. I wouldn't say much for the first wildcard spot for now, because Pittsburgh has 39 points. So the separation between the first and the second wildcard spot are by 6 points. But I don't know. It just really doesn't excite me once again that we're doing this where the Flyers have to do all their might to get into the playoffs at the final second of the year. I'm just not really, pushing for that. And I also do think my attitude right now is kind of factored in that to it. It is 1:30 in the morning. So I think that's also factoring into my attitude for this game. If this game was probably played in the afternoon, maybe I would have a different mindset on this. But still, at the end of the day, I know what this team is, and it's not enjoyable to watch, in my honest opinion. But who knows, going down the stretch, if they do get better from here or they get worse, we'll just have to take it day by day. That's basically all you can do with this Flyers team, is take it one game at a time. And that next game is Tuesday at 10 p.m. in Anaheim, which is going to be the last Western Conference 10 o'clock, past 10 o'clock game, road trip type thing for this Flyers team. So thankfully, Flyers After Dark is going to be a thing of a past going into the rest of this season. So thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. So what are your thoughts on this game, everyone? What are your thoughts on Martin Jones's performance? This Flyers game, do you think they played better? I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, so don't forget to leave those down there. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Florida Pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you can do is hit that sub button. I will greatly appreciate that, and I will see you next time.